I want to start the lesson this morning by telling you a story. When I was a boy in elementary school, I left John Sweat, went to Pacific Heights Elementary School in San Francisco, and it was different. At John Sweat, everybody in the class was around my age, a little older, a little younger, just by a few months. When I got to the high fifth grade, they had high and low back in those days. I'll never forget, I had a guy in my class 13 years old in the high fifth. I had another one 12. And seemed like half the rest of the class was 11. And I was only 10. And so it was a big change at Pacific Heights. And so there was a big guy, big for his age and older than me, that, you know, we had some words and some tuggling in the class. And I'll never forget, we decided to fight each other, Nicholas. And I was about average height for my age, and he was a big old fellow, okay? I mean, he was, you know, we had one guy in class, he was 5'11" in the fifth grade. And this guy was like 5'10" in the fifth grade. And, you know, we were all like 4'9", 5 foot or something like that, you know, in the fifth grade, all right? And so we went out around back, and so, you know, naturally I had to do some big talk. And so I did a lot of big talk, and we walked around the back of the school. And when I got out there and got ready to fight him, I looked at his eyes, and he looked like he was going to tear me to pieces. I mean, he looked serious, Barbara. And when I got up and put my arms up to fight him, he started coming at me. And I, you know, come on. And when he got closer, Patricia, I thought about this thing again. I said, no, I don't think I want to do this. I don't think I want to do this. And so I shouted and turned and ran. I mean, fear overtook me, folks. And I mean, all I could see as this guy came at me is my teeth, blood, my nose, my lips splattered all over the place. That's all I could see. And so I just, and I shouted and ran, okay? I shouted and ran, folks. And so basically, folk, I did what many of us still do today. I ran from my fears. I ran from my fears. I want to take for a subject the crippling effects of fear. I want to write this on the board. The crippling effects of fear. I wish to show in this lesson that fear, or how crippling fear and how widespread are the devastating effects of fear in the lives of most of us. My objective is that we look up to God in faith as we face those fears that we've been running from in our lives, and let Him lead us to victory over them. Our text for this lesson is found in 1 John chapter 4, verse 18. If you have your Bibles, turn there with me. And it reads as follows. It says, "There is no fear in love, but perfect fear cast out love, or perfect love cast out fear, because fear has torment. He that fears is not made perfect in love." The text is about the love of God, as the whole context of 1 John is about the love for God and the love for one another and the love that must exist in the community of Christians. And then the text is also about a fear that has no place in the context of Christianity. The fear of this text is from the Greek word kolossin, and the meaning is continued torture. Continued torture is the meaning of this word fear. It's used in Diogenes of divine retribution from the gods, eternal damnation, or continued torture. Once again, my subject this morning is the crippling effects of sin. My purpose is to show in this lesson how crippling and widespread are the devastating effects of fear in the lives of most of us. And my objective, once again, is that we look to God in faith as we face fears of our lives and let Him lead us to victory over them. Fear, folks, is one of the most dominant emotions of the human experience. Although some fears are a blessing from God for us as humans, others are crippling, debilitating, torturous, and keeps our minds confined to a prison until death do us part. It is this latter kind of fear that we will be spending most of our time discussing this hour. The crippling kind of torturous fear. Let's define the word fear. It's from the Greek word phobos. You've heard of areophobia, you've heard of hydrophobia, claustrophobia. You've heard of all these different phobias. Homer used this word in his Iliad. You remember Ulysses and the Trojan horse and all of that stuff? Homer used this word fear in the sense of panic. He used this fear in the sense of flight. He used this word fear in the sense of panic to flight. He used this word in the idea of running away from battle. You see, my fright of this big guy in elementary school, my fright led to my flight. Okay? I got afraid and I ran. And so basically Homer uses this word, panic to flight, and the idea there, folks, is that you are fleeing as a coward from battle. And folks, the sad thing is many of us are fleeing in panic and fright, causing us to flight from the battle of life itself. Think about that, folks. Running all of my life from the battle of life itself. It has been said that our greatest fear are not wild beasts or deadly germs, but fears that paralyze thought, poison the mind, and destroy character. Our only protection against this kind of fear is faith in God.